Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a Butt Fumble Sports Daily Show that has been off way too long as we were traveling, but now Butt Fumble Sports is back a little bit later in the day than we normally do on Sundays. No more 1 o'clock games, unfortunately. So with that 4:30 start, decided to start a little bit later today. So hope you have a wonderful weekend or having a wonderful weekend. Wonderful to be back with so many of the familiar faces that we've had all season long. Hope you guys won your championships. Hope you guys are in good position with your sports bets. But if you need help this morning, we are back. I Catch Fish, great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope your 2024 is off to a great start. Brennan Garcia, $500 from your league. Way to go, Brennan Garcia. That makes me so happy to know that you cashed in on our season-long advice. We now start a new year. Obviously, the NFL is back in its playoff format of 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. So we have really good action across the way. But unfortunately, no more fantasy football to look forward to. I Catch Fish won the ring in 300. Very happy to hear that. Wonderful to have you guys back. Butt Fumble Sports, of course, is going to be live almost every single day, giving out DFS advice, sports betting advice. And if you do play fantasy basketball and baseball, of course, we do that as well. Daniel Sanchez, thank you for the kind words. We're going to give out picks today every 2,000 likes. Every time we hit 2,000 likes, we're going to give out NFL, NBA picks, NHL picks as well, player prop bets. So plenty of ways that we can give out advice throughout the show today. Of course, you can find all of my bets on the SHARPZ app. So if you guys do want to get my picks and don't want to wait around for 2,000 likes, just DM me on Instagram, or you can go to the SHARPZ app and find all of our picks there. Of course, we were off a little bit, so the picks weren't coming in because I was in a place where if you try and use DraftKings, FanDuel, your account gets canceled. Don't want that. So we were away for a little bit, but you can find them on the SHARPZ app. Brennan Garcia, of course, we do fantasy basketball, we do fantasy baseball, but really we're just looking up data, trends, and analytics across the sports world because we're looking for good advantages. Who has a good matchup? Who's been hot of late? Who has a good home road split? Who has a history against that opponent that's favorable? Who has odds that are being placed too low, too high based on public betting, based on the number of bets being placed, and of course, based on the sportsbook bias. Bill Robinson, hey buddy, appreciate you saying it. Hope you'll be following all year long. Jorge, we are back. Appreciate you being with us. For all those watching on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, we are with you, of course, every single day, or we try to be. So make sure you get your questions in, your comments in, because a lot of you sports bettors I know love coming to us for your advice every day. Chargers for life. What are the odds of Harbaugh being named Chargers head coach? I think they've shot up really quickly. The fact that he's going to interview with them, I know he's made his comments after the national championship game about getting ready for spring ball, but I think he was still in Michigan mode. I would really be surprised if he is at Michigan next year because I believe we are all aware of the NCAA penalties coming against him, potentially another suspension. I don't think he wants to deal with that. Now, could he keep Michigan as a powerhouse? Yes, I do think that's possible. But frankly, I think the NFL is just a better situation for him. He might pull a Pete Carroll, get out while the getting's good, and avoid the sanctions or anything else that might come his way. Big dog, better bet Tony Pollard. Completely agree with you. Very big on Tony Pollard today. Great matchup against the Packers. The Packers are a really bad run defense and specifically bad against running backs. Love the play. Bill Robinson, thanks so much for subscribing. Great to have you as a part of the community. We will have a pick coming out at 2,000 likes. Majomes over on YouTube is asking for a Saban Belichick rant. I have been away for a week, so you guys haven't heard my takes. First of all, I grew up in New England. I grew up a Patriots fan. My fandom has obviously waned as I've been in sports media, working at ESPN, Fox Sports, and CBS Sports over the last 12, 15 years. And so because of that, my relationship with the Patriots has changed. I really needed the Patriots and Boston sports when I was younger. After a while, you just love working in sports media, so you don't need them as much. But Bill Belichick was always the shining example of what a great coach is. And I don't just mean that from, the championships. If you ever were in New England, you could watch what was called the Bellustrator, where he would literally break down plays every week for the New England audience. And it was the best X's and O's you could possibly get. And it really taught so many people in New England football. I think New England is not a great area for football. It just doesn't do it. Hockey, sure, but the South does football better. Texas, California, states that, I don't know, build people different. The New England, population doesn't produce a lot of great football players. There's some good ones, but Belichick taught a lot of New England about the NFL and about good football. I think it changed a lot of how people think about the Patriot fan base up there. It knew baseball really well, very passionate about the Red Sox. Belichick and Brady really changed everything. So I'm shocked that he's gone. It really sounds like all those whispers about the relationship between Robert Kraft and Belichick were true. That once Brady left, Kraft felt like Belichick really asked him to get rid of his son. And once he won that Super Bowl, this moment was destined to happen. Clearly, there was a succession plan in place the whole time. Gerard Mayo is going to be named the head coach on Wednesday. But it's just stunning that Bill Belichick's no longer there. It really is the toppling of a czar, of a dictator, of an emperor. I mean, it is Tom Landry coming out of Dallas. And I think the best storyline the NFL could possibly have is obviously if the Cowboys lose, though that wouldn't be a great thing for the NFL this year, if Belichick somehow became head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, which is a high possibility, I'm hearing, one of the top two teams. I think it's really between the Falcons and the Cowboys for him being the next head coach, which is just crazy. So that's my take on Belichick. Majomes, as for Nick Saban, that was even more stunning to me, and yet not at the same time. I didn't hear the rumors like other people did, but I don't follow college football to the same extent. What was stunning to me is I thought Nick Saban was far closer to sustaining his level of greatness where he was than Belichick in New England. However, I'm not surprised in that college football is changing so rapidly. I don't think Saban really wants to do it anymore, and I got that vibe. I think he loves coaching. I don't think he loves everything else that comes with coaching, and that's what it requires more and more, especially in the NIL level era. I think the new playoff is much different as well. I think Saban just saw it as a time to transition out. I think he's really smart. I think he's going to stay involved in Alabama to some extent, obviously helping them recruit or do other things, but I was less surprised in some ways and more surprised in some ways. I thought Belichick should have stayed. I thought Saban was smart to get out when he did. So those are my rants on that. If you guys want rants, always feel free to hit me up. Let's get back to some questions. Alex Sanborn's in a fantasy dynasty trade question. Got you here. Garrett Wilson and a 2025 second. So that's not this upcoming season, but the following season for Drake London and Zay Flowers. I really like this in some ways for the Garrett Wilson and the second round pick coming up. I think Garrett Wilson is going to have a massive year next year because, again, I think Aaron Rodgers will be back. So Wilson, already a 1,000-yard receiver every year, is going to get even better next year, and expect the Jets offensive line and receivers around him to be improved. Garrett Wilson, thanks, Majomes. Appreciate you so much. Garrett Wilson and a 2025 second round pick is really attractive to me. I'd rather have that side. Zay Flowers, I really like, but he had a really good year. Is the sophomore slump going to kick in? Our defense is going to play him a bit differently. Keep in mind, the NFL gets smarter over time. They learn from film. So is Zay Flowers going to be able to have the same kind of success? Drake London's interesting to me. I could see him having a very high ceiling, but at the same time, I don't know the quarterback situation there. I feel better about Rodgers coming back to the Jets than a rookie QB to Drake London. Could he be the Nico Collins to some CJ Stroud, a.k.a. a Caleb Williams, a.k.a. even like a Michael Penix Jr. would be interesting there. It's just a bit too much of a question mark. So, Alex, I'm on that side of it. Daniel Sanchez, thoughts on all the drama with the head coaches? You heard about a few of them. Honestly, other than that, the only other story I really want to talk about when NFL head coaches comes up is why is Antonio Pierce not the head coach of the Raiders yet? That one makes no sense to me. It's about time that Mark Davis names him the head coach. Once Max Crosby came out and said, if you don't hire this guy, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to push for a trade. I'm going to say I want to get out of here. That told me all I need to know. When your leader is saying that, go with it. In part because it's also saying Max Crosby will stay and commit to the Raiders. You get 2 for 1. I think it's a no-brainer. I'm surprised the Raiders haven't done it yet. Landon Wilson, I was at Arrowhead last night. Landon, first of all, I would say you have bigger balls than me, but after being in that cold, you probably don't. That is amazingly courageous. Speaking about my memories, I had the opportunity as a kid to go to the Snow Bowl game, which was the Adam Vinatieri game-winning kick. That was Raiders Patriots back in 2001. I guess it was the 2002 year, 2001 season. And we didn't go. And I was like, oh, actually, in retrospect, I'm happy I didn't because it would have been miserable. I hope you had a lot of fun surf swagging with T Swift and everybody else there. Good win last night. By the way, that helmet crash and break, that was probably one of the weirdest, coolest things I've ever seen. But Mahomes should have come out of the game for that after that play. Something that got by things. By the way, we have hit 2,000 likes, so you guys know I owe you guys some picks. So let's get that up on the board right now. If you guys have been waiting around for the first pick of the day, I want to give out NFL, NBA, player prop bet picks all day long. First one I'm going to give out is going to be Packers plus 10.5. Packers plus 10.5 is a pick I like because I could see this game really living within a one touchdown game. Getting to that 10.5 spot and still staying under minus 200 is really attractive to me. One thing I want to call up about this game as well is how this game is being bet in the public money terms. We go to Outlier, which is the sports betting research tool that we use. I really love that, yes, the percentage of the bets when it comes to the spread are a majority on the Cowboys. Not surprised by that. A lot of Cowboys fans out there backing their team. But the big money, the public, percentage of money, also known as the sharp money, that's coming down on Packers to cover. When we have that direction, that lack of alignment going in opposite directions there. Love going with the underdog. Love taking the Packers. Packers plus 10.5, very attractive for me. So that's the first pick we're giving out. When we hit 4,000 likes, we'll give out another pick. But for now, let's get back to some of your questions. Yeah, Majomes Majomes is saying Bovada was at plus 10, now at plus 7. Yeah, I bought it up to 10.5. Earlier in the week, I also took it at 10, so I really like that spot of getting the touchdown in the field goal, living with under that range. I took the 10.5 because if it is a 10-point game, I don't want the push. Upset of the day, Rams over Lions. It's a very attractive pick. Here's my only concern. Everyone's picking that. Funny enough, that's one that everyone's on in the same direction. I go back over to Outlier to look at that game, and you'll see the public money line, the public betting on the money line, both percentage of tickets and money is both going in the same direction. You know what that means? It means the sports books would actually benefit by the Lions winning. I've got my eye on that game because I actually think I like the Lions on the money line. And I say that because it's becoming actually more and more attractive as a bet. There's so much money coming down on the Rams that I almost feel like the value has shifted. I know that goes contrary to a lot of how you guys think. You guys think, well, I'm thinking about the game. How's the game going to play out? Well, that's football analysis. We can do that all day. We have a lot of fun doing that. But if we're talking about sports betting, sometimes it's best to be on the side of the sports books and the casinos in Vegas than it is to be with the public. Now, when we have big money come down, but the public's on the other side, as I mentioned in that Dallas Packers game, that's different. But when the public is betting both the biggest money and the most tickets all in one direction, it gets me a little wary, especially when that's the road dog, especially when that's a primetime game, especially when the Lions are getting Laporta back. There's a lot about this game that has me a little bit wary. I would tend to say I would take the money line towards the Detroit Lions. Now, I do like the Rams on a cover. I bought some points there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But if I actually had to go money line on this second game of today at 8:15, I would take the Lions on the money line purely from a value standpoint. Shanda the Wine Panda, appreciate you being with us. Thanks for showing us some love. Jaden, Stafford over 276 passing yards. I bought that at 249.5. The answer is yes. I still probably like the over on that. Again, let's jump on over to Outlier and let's look specifically at this player prop bet because it is one that I like. I'll show you again where I took it. But Matt Stafford's going up against a defense that's very vulnerable in the passing game. I'm going to shift on over to the over because you're asking about 276.5. I haven't actually seen that, or 275.5. He's hit this 4 out of the last 5 games. Lions, 27th in terms of passing yards allowed. Now, I bought this down 249.5, got it at minus 240, and I parlayed it with some other things today, like the Packers covering at plus 10.5, like the Nuggets winning. I just parlayed it with some things that were literally going to bring it closer to even odds. That's hit in 5 straight games. I think he gets through 250 passing yards without too much issue. The 276, I think he probably gets there. The biggest question for me is Kyren Williams should have a tough time running today. Lions are a good run defense. If that's the case, I really like this more. But if somehow Kyren Williams just starts to ultimately wear down that D-line of Detroit, maybe this goes a touch under the 276. It's why I like the 249.5 so much. In fact, now that I brought it up, let's put it up on our board as well. That's another pick that we like, and we just hit 4,000 likes, so the timing could not be more perfect. 249.5 passing yards for Matthew Stafford. That's one we like at minus 240. I'll give out another one. I mentioned a moment ago, I would right now start taking the Lions on the money line, and I would take the Rams at plus 6. That's what I took it at. I still think this is going to be a 3 or 4 point game. If you want to take it at the 6.5 and just you're getting a little bit less love on it, maybe you want to pair Rams cover with Stafford on the passing yards. That should get you to right about even money. That would be attractive to a number of you. So that's another pick we put up on the board. If you guys have questions about fantasy football, drafts for next year, trades, all for it. Basketball fantasy, I'm all about that as well, or fantasy basketball, fantasy baseball, all that stuff, DFS, sports betting. Just here to talk sports with you all day. Sid, is Christian Watson playing today? Still don't know quite yet, waiting on that. Haven't heard yet. I think it's going to be closer to a game time decision. Micah, how do you think Goff is going to play today? Honestly, I think he's going to play well. I don't think he's going to have the bigger stats. I think the running dynamic of Gibbs and Montgomery is probably going to be more important overall to that offense between the 20s. I could see Goff throwing a touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown or Laporta, but that said, I'm not big on Goff overall stats today. Majomes, Miami fraud rant. I don't know if they're a fraud. I thought they got some really awful injuries late in the year to the defensive line. I thought that really impacted their ability to close out the AFC East. Once they were not the AFC East winner and they became a wild card, I felt very confident that they were going to lose. Then you go to, sub-Arctic conditions in Kansas City. It just seemed like they were set up to fail. Do I think that makes them a fraud? No. I think when they're completely healthy, as talented a team in the NFL, but ultimately the injuries are what cost them, because when they can't get pressure on an opposing quarterback, that secondary isn't as good as we all thought it was going to be. Last night was also a tough dynamic, just again with the weather conditions. Doghouse breaks. Tony P over 15.5 rushing attempts. That is one that I like. I like his rushing yards as well, over 49.5 rushing yards. Jaden Whitler. So you think Gibbs over 52.5 rushing yards? Haven't looked at it actually in greater depth. Let's take a look at it right now. Jahmyr Gibbs is someone I liked in his overall yards, but let's dive into what we expect from his total rushing yards right now. Using, again, the Outlier app. If you guys want a 7-day free trial to Outlier, let me know. DM me on Instagram. Good implied probability on Outlier. Something else that we like to see. This has been a very good trend over the last 10 games. Rams against running backs. They're a pretty good defense, but I also think the dynamic is here where the Lions are going to consistently feed them, and it only takes a series of good runs for him to get close to about 50 yards. That said, if you wanted to buy this down, 39.5 is very attractive at minus 210. Again, I'm someone that is not always trying to get to plus money on a single ticket. I'd actually rather be a little bit safer and just parlay things in 2 or 3 legs. I do a lot of round robins, so I know some of you guys are like, minus 210, what do I want to do? Put, $2.10 down to get $1 back. I'm actually okay with that. I feel like I can do a single ticket on that. I can also parlay that with some other things that I like Matt Stafford over 249.5 passing yards. So I'm someone who likes to put together tickets that have a safer, greater probability of cashing, put them together in 2-3 legs. That's something I like to do a lot. So I think this is attractive at 39.5. If you wanted to take it at 49.5, completely understand at the minus 122. If we want to jump over for a quick second and look at his rushing plus receiving yards, this is one I don't like as much. Rams really good at stopping running backs when it comes to the receiving yards. hasn't been as consistent a play. If we look at it specifically in home games, missed 2 out of the last 3. Just not one I'm gonna go for. So, anyways, a few breakdowns of some of your questions. Antcan, just wanted to let you know that I won my fantasy league because of you. Antcan111, so happy to hear that. Appreciate you watching us all season long. You've been a great supporter of the show. Hope you continue to watch us, having a lot of fun with it. Jaden, the betting app we use is called Outlier. Outlier is the sports betting research tool we use to find our player prop bets, go through the public money for total and total tickets bet for game picks. It's just a really great way of diving into trends, analytics, and also seeing how the market moves based on the money that's being bet, the number of bets that are being put down on something. Really, really helpful. I highly recommend it. Again, free 7-day trial. If you DM me on Instagram, Buttfumble Sports on Instagram, I can hook you up with a free 7-day trial. I'll send you the link, and that way you can check it out. I think there's really no way after using it that you don't come away saying, if you're a real sports bettor and you like doing it consistently, really gives you a leg up, because otherwise you're using like 8 different websites to try to piece all these things together, and it takes a lot of time. So I think it's a really good value for the dollars. So if you do want to hit us up, make sure you go over to our Instagram, Buttfumble Sports, and I'll hook you up. D Turner Game Picks. You chose Texans. I love the Texans. It was too bad. I got caught on my flight. We had like a 2-hour delay on the ground where we were. And so I wasn't even able to like get back in time to put in my bets for yesterday, because you got to be on U.S. soil to use the U.S. sports book. So I was really disappointed because I love the Texans to cover yesterday. I actually thought that was such a good bet. There was way too much hype about Joe Flacco's history in playoff games. And the reason I thought that was with the Ravens. That was with a team that knew how to win in the postseason. I didn't feel the same way about the Browns. I thought that was a really, really good bet. So great job, D. Turner. And that Miami KC game, the under 44. Good thinking on that as well. Yeah, that cold weather game ultimately playing itself out. Bills minus 6.5. I love where you took that. I think the Steelers are going to cover at a bigger margin, but at minus 6.5. Love that play. Cowboys minus 7. Ooh, that's one we might be sweating. I'm not going to lie. D. Turner, I wouldn't be surprised if that Cowboys play is the one that ultimately breaks this. So you may want to put down a separate bet on maybe the Packers to cover, or the Packers on the money line, obviously giving you plus odds there. So maybe you want to check that one out, D. Turner. Might be a wise idea to hedge specifically that play. I know the Cowboys have performed really well at home this year, but I think that game could be a bit closer than people think. Rams plus 10.5, love that one. And Eagles plus 6.5, really like that as well. D. Turner on his game. Daniel Sanchez, you think the Steelers have a chance on Monday? I think they have a chance, but not really. I really don't like the fact, once TJ Watt was out, I'll say no. I think there's always a chance. I'll never say that there isn't, because when that happens, you get a miracle, in Tennessee with the Titans, Music City Miracle. You get the Giants and Patriots. I'll never say something can't happen. What I will say is I don't think it will happen. I think the Bills are going to win that game. I don't think they cover the massive spread, but I do like them on the money line very, very much. 811. Yeah, I do think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to keep it relatively close, in part because no A.J. Brown. This is a Buccaneers defense that's really bad against the pass, and now that the Eagles don't have A.J. Brown, I think that is a massive, massive loss for Philadelphia, simply because the running game of the Eagles is going up against the strength of the Buccaneers defense. They're good up front stopping the run. It's Jalen Hurts passing. He's got an injured finger, and he doesn't have his number one wide receiver. Tends to have me leaning towards the Buccaneers. Now, I actually am going to put that pick up on the board as well, because that's one of my favorites of the weekend. Putting that up here, Buccaneers. I took them at plus 4.5. I thought that was a really favorable spot to take it. So Buccaneers plus 4.5. But I'd also consider Buccaneers on the money line if you want to put a half unit down on it. Just feels like a very strong play. Baker Mayfield's been playing really well, and the Eagles are, as we all know, a bad pass defense. being a bad pass defense, being on the road, going up against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I think it's a really favorable matchup for Baker Mayfield. I think it's a tough matchup for the Eagles defense. I like the Bucs to be able to pass well. I'm curious to know what Rachaad White's going to do in the passing game. That could also be a devastating part of the attack for the Bucs. So I really like the Bucs to cover in that game, and I would be considering them on the money line as well. Look out for an upset down in Tampa Bay. Mahomes, I do think Pollard bounces back. I think he's got such a great matchup against the Packers today. Anders Carlson, over 1.5 field goals. Interesting question. I'll look it up on Outlier. I will admit, I never bet on kickers. It's just not something that I'm really about. I always feel like kickers are a kind of a tricky one. Can I even find field goals on the Outlier app? Yeah, I can. Made field goals. Of course we can. So let's go to Carlson. The over, it does not have a great implied probability. It doesn't look like a favorable bet on Outlier. That's what I'll say. So, Original Nate, just not one that Outlier at least is promoting. So not one that I would be promoting as well. It just doesn't have good trends to it in terms of what I'm seeing against the Cowboys defense. Jaden Whitler, Josh Allen over 207.5 passing yards. Like that, actually. I could see that happening. CeeDee Lamb over 100.5 receiving yards. Don't like that as much, actually. Think that could be a more difficult matchup. Fit Dre, got a future for Bills and Bucs Super Bowl. Well, that ticket is alive, at least for now. I don't think I like the Bucs in the second round of the playoffs, but we'll have to see who they're facing. You never know. The Cooper movie, no, I don't. D. Turner had a blessed week. See you, D. Turner. Have a great day. And great to know that you're home in 60. Get home safe, buddy. Joshua, having a wonderful day talking sports with all of you guys. Just love it. Robert, appreciate you watching the show all year long. Absolutely love it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. When we hit 6,000 likes, we will give out another free pick. Dom, you helped me win the chip. You helped me to start Amari Cooper over Nico Collins. I was down 40. Dom, so happy to hear it. So happy to hear we came through for you. Absolutely thrilled. I love knowing that the success, that the advice we've been giving out all season long has had a positive effect and obviously gives you the bragging rights and hopefully the cash in your pocket to claim yourself as champion over this last fantasy football season. Joshua, Mike Evans, I took it a little bit lower, but I love Mike Evans tomorrow. Anytime touchdown is one that I absolutely would give out. Mike Evans, over half, and anytime touchdown. Definitely a bet that I would jump on while you can, because I definitely feel like he's going to find the end zone tomorrow, given the matchup against that Eagles pass defense. If you guys want more rants, if you guys want DFS advice, if you guys want to talk some sports bets, or if you want to talk fantasy sports, basketball, baseball, football, already looking ahead to your draft next year, are you in a dynasty league, thinking about trades, whatever it is, Butt Fumble Sports is here for whatever you guys need. We created this sports content company because we love talking sports and we love being able to do it with real sports fans just like yourself. So whatever it is, hit that comment section. We love talking sports with you. So whatever we can do, let us know. Joshua, what are your favorite bets for Rams and Lions game today? Amon-Ra St. Brown to get a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown over half a touchdown. In fact, I'll put that one up on my board. Amon-Ra St. Brown over half and anytime touchdown. Like that play a lot. Also took Sam Laporta on a touchdown. Little nervous about that because of the knee, but I feel like one of the two, if not both, is going to score the touchdown, so I did take him. Additionally, Matthew Stafford over 249.5 passing yards, and I also took Cooper Kupp on an anytime touchdown. So those were the ones that I bet last night. If you want to find every bet that I make every single day, either DM me on Instagram or you can go over to the SHARPZ app and look up Butt Fumble Sports. Every bet that I make every single day is over there for free. We give out all of our picks for free. If you haven't signed up for the SHARPZ app yet, DM me on Instagram. That's Butt Fumble Sports, the name of my company, Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. That way you can get every bet that I make every single day. We do our research. We use Outlier. We use other sports betting research tools to find the best bets every day to help you guys out and obviously to put together the best bets we can to cash in on all of this sports betting research that we do. Hopefully you guys find it really informative. If you guys want to get access to any of our picks, just DM us on Instagram, ButtFumbleSports. Happy to give away that to you guys every single day. Who wins the MVP? Lamar Jackson's the MVP. I feel like he locked that up pretty solidly. Not a question there. Jack, so happy to hear you won a championship. Congratulations, Jack. And appreciate you watching the show. Lorenzo, some possible touchdowns today. Well, we mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown. We mentioned Cooper Kupp a moment ago. And we mentioned Mike Evans. Those are three that we really like. CeeDee Lamb is another one. More than happy to put him up on the big board as well. This is just one that has been way too consistent for me to not take it. CeeDee Lamb, over half, and anytime touchdown. Also put up as well. Also put up as well the Cooper Kupp. Mentioned that as well. Over half an anytime touchdown. So those are a few of the touchdown plays that we really like. I also did take Josh Allen over half an anytime touchdown for tomorrow as well. That's one I also have in a parlay that I put together. Drew, Tony Pollard anytime touchdown. I like that one as well. Not putting it up on the big board because my confidence level about it is a little bit lower because it hasn't been as consistent throughout the season, but it's a really favorable matchup against the Packers. I did bet it myself, so I would endorse it, just not putting it up on my big board. The Cooper movie. Where do you think Bo Nix is likely to land in the NFL? Great question. I actually think he'd be a great fit in Minnesota. I think it would be really smart if Minnesota found a way to draft him. I don't think they're going to have to move up to get him. I think either Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix makes a lot of sense in Minnesota. They have two wide receivers who can just go get it. I hope TJ Hawkinson comes back healthy. They need obviously some help on the offensive line and in the backfield, but you can get a running back later in the draft. So overall, I just think it makes a lot of sense for Bo Nix to be there. Outside of that, do I think Seattle could be an interesting spot for him? I do. He's coming from Oregon. Going and staying in the Pacific Northwest would make a lot of sense. Again, good receivers. He throws a deep ball. In some ways, he reminds me a little bit of Russell Wilson. He's not big in stature, but he has a pretty big arm, does throw a good deep ball. So I would think that actually would be a decent fit. And they don't have a good successor to Geno Smith. So you draft Bo Nix. Again, I think Minnesota and Seattle make a lot of sense for Michael Penix Jr. and for Bo Nix. I think those two line up really well. I think Caleb Williams makes the most sense in Washington. I think Jaden Daniels makes the most sense in New England. And I think Atlanta is the big question mark. I think Atlanta should go after a Russell Wilson. I think that actually makes more sense to me. I think they should go after a veteran rather than bring in a rookie because I think they are closer to contending right now than they should. I don't think they want to give up this time where you've got Bijan Robinson, you've got Drake London, you've got Kyle Pitts. Go get a quarterback who can make it happen. Much like when you brought in Matt Ryan, not when you brought in when you had Matt Ryan, having that veteran presence I think is valued right now. Denver quarterback. It's interesting what Denver is going to do. I think Denver is the big wild card of the draft this year. They are going to move up. They are going to trade up to go get a quarterback. The question is, how high can they go? Would the Bears be willing to go down that far? It means they obviously lose out on Marvin Harrison Jr. Would they be willing to do that? What other teams would be willing to trade down? Would the Arizona Cardinals be willing to trade down if they're comfortable keeping Kyler Murray as their quarterback? I think the Denver Broncos are hunting for a transcending quarterback, and there are a few in this draft. Denver has to eat all that money. That's one of the reasons it actually makes sense, because then you are on a rookie quarterback contract, which is actually more financially advantageous to organizations. Q-Dog, Rams or Lions win. So I mentioned this earlier. I think a lot of the trends that we look at have us excited maybe about the Rams putting on a very close game. but I've got the Lions on the money line, and part of that is I want to be on the side of the sports books on that one. So much public money is coming down on the Rams as a road underdog. Just makes me a little bit nervous. I kind of like the Lions on this one. Feel like it's a good play. Jorge, Drake May is the one I actually think that the Denver Broncos are going to target. I don't think he makes as much sense in Washington. I think he does make some sense in New England. But I think Drake May to Denver is ultimately I think the Cardinals are going to trade down. I think they're going to acquire some more picks. They're going to stay with Kyler Murray. And I think the Denver Broncos trade up to that spot and they draft Drake May. So that's what I think is going to happen in the draft. Appreciate you guys asking some fun questions. Mike likes the Rams to win. That's where the public's at. Blease Art, all grit. Good luck to all those Lions fans out there. I am rooting for the Lions, not just from a betting standpoint, but personally, I would just love to see Detroit get the win today. I just think it's fantastic if they get the chance to advance. Majomes, thoughts on the new hire for Alabama? I thought it made a lot of sense, and at the same time, New England and Alabama are two places where I don't want to be the next guy. Even if I succeed, I can't succeed. So I don't think it's going to last more than maybe 5 years. I could see it going 4 or 5 years before ultimately he just fails to win at a clip that is Nick Saban-esque. And I think that Alabama, much like New England, is one of those places that has won so much that they've become almost delusional about the expectations in the modern world, especially in the 12-team playoff moving forward. I think it's going to get a lot harder for teams like Alabama to win because I think the games that they play ultimately will just have greater variables to them. They don't play the same teams the same way. They won't have the advantage on talent the same way. NIL works against them, so I don't think it's going to work out long-term the way that a lot of people think. Do you have another Cowboys player prop bet? I took Tony Pollard at over 49.5 rushing yards. I took CeeDee Lamb over on receptions. I looked at Jake Ferguson over on receptions. Ultimately didn't do it, but I got my eye on it, so that should tell you something there. Kyren, I did not take Kyren Williams on a touchdown. I think it could happen, but I didn't bet it. Not a great matchup against the Detroit Lions. I'm avoiding Kyren Williams today. But Jones, I didn't take Brandon Cooks on a touchdown. I feel like I maybe should. He's been so good on that at home. However, I did put him in my DFS lineup. If you guys want to see the DFS lineup I played today, go over to our Instagram account, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. You could check out the DFS lineup that we put in our newsletter and the one that we're playing with today. Appreciate all of you guys joining us for this NFL playoff weekend. That said, we also have NBA picks to give out. If any of you guys want the NBA picks, we will give those out when we hit 8,000 likes. 2 NBA picks at 8,000 likes. Stumpy rules, does Chicago trade Fields? I don't think so. I think Justin Fields is going to be the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears. 2 interesting instances of players asserting their power and making their opinion known. Max Crosby in Vegas with the head coaching position, and DJ Moore coming out advocating for Justin Fields. If I'm the Chicago Bears, you finally have a quarterback that you can build around. Why would you move on? I understand Caleb Williams has a lot of talent. If you want to go chase that, I get it. But that said, I feel like you could continue to build around Justin Fields and still succeed with him. I think you are only a handful of pieces away from potentially being not just a wild card team, but going toe-to-toe with the Lions now each year. I don't think they're as far away as people think. Pete McQuaid, great to see you, buddy. Mr. Butt, appreciate What's your take on the Rams' offensive players tonight? So I really like Cooper Kupp on over half touchdown and anytime touchdown. I could also see his over receptions hitting. Don't like him as much on the yardage. I think Puka gets more yards, not as many receptions. I think that's how it breaks down. I love Matthew Stafford on over passing yards. I got it at 249.5. That's going off at minus 210 right now. So maybe do a same game parlay. Rams cover by 6.5, and Matthew Stafford over 249.5 passing yards. That should come in at even or plus money. That's when I'll put a couple of units down on and really feel good about it. If you wanted to take Lions on the money line, I think that's a good bet. I'd rather be on the side of the sports books on that one. Again, Rams to cover, Lions to win. Amon-Ra St. Brown on a touchdown as well. Feel like he could have a good game against this Rams defense. Tyler Ola, so happy to hear you won your championship. Appreciate you watching the show as consistently as you did. So happy to know that we put some money in your pocket. Hopefully we can continue to do that until next fantasy season when we start it all over again. Daniel Sanchez, which player do you think should win Defensive Player of the Year? I think TJ Watt should. I thought he dominated when on the field, and I think we're going to see the difference between Steelers defense with him and without him tomorrow in Buffalo. I think TJ Watt is ultimately going to win it. I thought Max Crosby and Myles Garrett were right there for a while, Deron Bland, but ultimately I think it's TJ Watt's to win. Chadster, appreciate you so much. So happy to hear you won your league. I love to hear all of these championship winners bragging about it and knowing that you guys have bragging rights over your friends. Wonderful to know. And if you guys played on our Rival Fantasy Sponsors app, if you guys know Rival Fantasy, they do a number of season-long challenges and fantasy bingo, and you guys got paid out really well. We had 40 total leagues last year. We're going to have even more this year, so make sure you guys join us all season long. We're going to do fantasy baseball. We're going to do fantasy football. We'll talk fantasy basketball. And, of course, go to Rival Fantasy if you want to play their bingo game or their challenges. Again, we've been doing this all year long. Who's going to get more fantasy points? CeeDee Lamb, Josh Allen. I'd go Josh Allen on this one. I think Josh Allen ultimately gets more fantasy points. I'll put a buck on it. Don't have huge confidence. Dak Prescott, Josh Allen. Who's going to get more fantasy points? I'm going to skip that one. Josh Allen, Jared Goff. Ooh, that's a close one. I'm going to lean just slightly, I think, towards Jared Goff. I'll take a buck on that. So that's just a fun way that you guys can play along using the research that we use every day and ultimately continuing the fantasy football experience over on Rival Fantasy. Majomes, Dan Campbell going to go for it too many times on fourth down. Majomes, it is a concern of mine. I actually like coaches that understand that the playoffs, you can't take too many chances because ultimately the loss of a possession in a bad spot on the field, that's just a quick set of points that you can't recover from in the same way. So I hope Dan Campbell is maybe a bit more conservative than he has been over the last, season. Lorenzo, Aaron Jones or Jaden Reed for a touchdown? Great question. I think I'd go Jaden Reed just because of how they utilize him and the dynamic he brings. I don't love either one. There was no one on the Packers. I feel like Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs are probably the best two plays of that group. So that's ultimately where I come down on that. Appreciate you guys putting in your questions. We just hit 8,000 likes, so I owe you guys another pick. I promised we would give out 2 NBA picks. First one is going to be the Heat on the money line, and the second one's going to be the Bucks on the money line. We've got some favorites today that we really like. Heat, money line, Bucks money line. I'm also going to give you another one. It's going to be a player prop bet, and I'm going to take Bam Adebayo over 19.5 points. We put out a parlay earlier today on the SHARPZ app that featured a bunch of players, 5 players, to go over their point totals. Go over to the SHARPZ app if you want to see that 5-player parlay with players I think is going to go over their total. Chadster, appreciate you, buddy. Mike, who's not playing? Drew, Gibbs anytime touchdown. I didn't bet it. I don't think it's a bad play. Just not one that I honestly bet. I'd be kind of curious to know where the odds are on it. Jahmyr Gibbs, let's take a look at this one. Anytime touchdown. Has been a very consistent play, specifically at home. Been fantastic of late. 4 out of the last 5. Only one it missed against was the Packers. Touchdowns against running backs, though. Rams are the best defense in the NFL at preventing running back touchdowns. So that's the reason I didn't bet it. It's been a good trend, but it's, as you can see, it's one that's a little bit dicey for just that reason. Rams are really good at keeping touchdowns out of there. Shammy is back. Shammy, great to see you. The Shammy rule is always in effect here at Butt Fumble Sports. Shammy, great to have you with us. Yeah, Mike, Watt isn't playing. We know, Watt isn't playing. Really disappointed that we won't be able to see TJ Watt. I ultimately think it's what makes the difference in that game. Without him on the field, I think the Steelers' chances of winning are very, very small. Appreciate you guys being with us on this NFL, NBA, NHL Sunday. Hopefully you're having a wonderful weekend. We are so grateful to have you guys watching every single day that we're live. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. The fantasy football season may have come to an end, but we're talking sports every single day because Butt Fumble Sports loves talking sports. We've worked at ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, Jim Rome. This is what we love to do, and now I get to do it under our own brand, Butt Fumble Sports. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe. We put out content every single day. Now that we're back stateside, it makes it a lot easier. We were overseas, so it made it a little hard to be able to put out bets given the sports books don't operate over there. But now that we're back, we get to rant about sports. We get to talk sports betting and, of course, talk fantasy sports, basketball, baseball, football, whatever you guys want to talk about. We are here for you because you're real sports fans that obviously love coming here every day. Logan Hunton, what plays do you like today? We've given out a few so far. Let me repeat some of the bets that we've given out that I like a lot. Packers plus 10.5, Lions on the money line, Rams plus 6, Buccaneers plus 4.5. I'll give out another one right now, pretty obvious one. I'm taking the Bills on the money line. That's another bet that I'm putting out there. Some player prop bets that I like for the NFL. Matthew Stafford over 249.5 passing yards. Mike Evans to get a touchdown, CeeDee Lamb to get a touchdown, Cooper Kupp to get a touchdown. Another one I like with player prop bets is I like Amon-Ra St. Brown to get a touchdown as well. NBA, Heat on the money line, Bucks on the money line, and Bam Adebayo to get 20 points. I'm going to give out my SHARPZ play of the day, my favorite bet of the day, regardless of the sport, regardless of the type of bet, at 10,000 likes on TikTok. Once we hit the 10,000 likes, we're going to give out our favorite pick of the day. Appreciate you guys tapping that screen. Appreciate you guys supporting the show. Our SHARPZ play of the day is, of course, on the SHARPZ app. We give out every bet we make every day on the SHARPZ app for free. So if you ever want to see the bets that we like based on the trends and data and all the research that we do, make sure you go on over to the SHARPZ app or DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. You DM me on Instagram, I'll hook you up with the link and the referral code so you can see every bet we made today and every single day. We just hit that SHARPZ play of the day, so happy to be able to say we can give out our pick right now. SHARPZ play of the day. It's going to be the Denver Nuggets on the money line. Love the Nuggets on the money line. I know it's like a minus 500. I'm putting it in like every parlay. It's the one I have the greatest confidence level in. That is my SHARPZ play of the day. Yes, it's a heavy favorite play, but it's one I'll give out. My favorite bet of the day isn't always the one that has the best odds. It's the one that I have the highest confidence level in, and that is the bet that I have the highest confidence level in. So there you go. Our SHARPZ play of the day is Nuggets on the money line. I'm adding that to every NFL player prop bet parlay. I'm adding it to a lot of picks. So if you guys were curious, that is my SHARPZ play of the day. Let's get back to some of your questions. Majomes, Najee thoughts? I think Najee is going to get the ball a lot. I could see him getting around 50 rushing yards, so it could be a decent day. Lorenzo, if I like either one, I prefer James Cook to get a touchdown. I prefer James Cook over Najee Harris. I think that's the better bet between those two. Drew, what happened to Tyreek yesterday? Two things. The weather impacted the Miami Dolphins' ability to throw the ball, and two, because it was so obvious that they were going to run the ball, it changed how the Chiefs' defense played. They were able to press Tyreek Hill a lot more effectively. They were able to just limit what the Miami Dolphins wanted to do from a schematic standpoint. I just thought it was a perfect storm against Tyreek Hill, and yet he still caught a touchdown, so I give him credit there. Carly, Mark Sanchez wouldn't be too happy about your name. Well, maybe you shouldn't have run into the offensive lineman's ass if you didn't want that. Other two was because your help. Appreciate it, Logan. I was in 4 this year. I got in first the first 2. Love to hear it, Logan. Congratulations. If you guys have a question, if you guys want to get some takes on rants, fire away. Vincent, so right now you can see on the SHARPZ app that we're a certified sharp. That means you have to get over 55% on all of your bets. We're at 56% right now. Usually, we do our research on it. We're usually, when it comes to individual bets, at around 67, 68% cashing rate, which is pretty solid. 67, 68%. The reason we're lower when it comes to all of our bets is because we do a lot of parlays. We do a lot of parlays and a lot of round robins. We do that honestly for you guys as much as for us. If I were just betting for myself, I do a smaller unit amount because I do so many bets every day. But that said, that's why our percentage is lower at 56%. But when we're just betting individual bets, we're usually at around 68 to anywhere from 67 to 68%. Ben Cole, Puka Nacua. I don't like him on his receptions. I like him on over receiving yards, especially if you got it at 49.5. I could see him getting to 50 receiving yards. Touchdown, I think I like Cooper Kupp a little bit more. I looked at Puka. He usually gets around 3 catches, 4 catches a game. It's a little tight on that, but receiving yards I do like. Bob Jeff Supreme, Devin Booker. I love Devin Booker today. Triple-double, that may be a little ambitious. I love him on his over point total. That's actually another bet that I'll put up on my big board. You absolutely hit the nail on the head on that one. I am very high on Devin Booker today. Devin Booker over 19.5 points is what I took it at that parlay. That's going at like minus 360. You guys may not want that, but I would also take this at like something like over 24.5 as well. I really like Devin Booker scoring the ball today against the Portland Trailblazers. They have a tough time with Devin Booker. I think he could have a big, big day. So I'm right there with you, Bob Jeff Supreme. I think it's a great idea. Okay. I do like the Bills tomorrow on the money line. Keep your eyes on the Steelers to cover at maybe 13.5. But that said, I do like the Bills on the money line. Cena, I'm not taking CeeDee Lamb over on yards. I could see him getting the touchdown. I think over on yards is a little tricky. Mahomes, I don't like Swift on the rushing touchdown. If I were to take either one, I'd go Jalen Hurts. I could see that one cashing, but I don't like DeAndre Swift's matchup against those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you haven't done so already, make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. That way you never miss our show. We're live almost every single day, talking fantasy sports, sports betting, DFS, and ranting about what's going on in the sports world. Nathan Persons, Bucks money line. I think that's a really attractive bet. I did take the Bucks to cover. That one obviously has a greater chance of cashing, but I think Bucks money line is absolutely one to watch. No A.J. Brown makes a massive difference for me. Bucks will be able to pass the ball effectively against the Eagles' bad secondary. I really like the Bucks in that game. So yeah, I think that's a good play. Mahomes, I wouldn't touch Gainwell. I just don't like playing backup running back bets. I feel like that's always just a really awkward play just because you don't understand usage and how the coach is going to ultimately try to feel out his offensive scheme and play calling. I'm not about it. Dakota, what's the future for the Browns? Murky. Deshaun Watson is... I was about to say something horrible. Maybe I should. Deshaun Watson in some ways is like... No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to compare him to Wander Franco. It's not appropriate. But there is something about the guy with massive talent who signs a massive contract and then has some off-the-field issues that are weird and make him clearly like that's a bad dude and all of that. And it's like, would you continue to have that guy in your team or build around him? And Deshaun Watson, I thought Joe Flacco kind of showed, if you could just get someone who's consistently on the field and just gets the ball downfield in the passing game, like a C.J. Stroud, you could be really effective. Deshaun Watson just can't stay on the field. He can't stay healthy enough. And I've mentioned this before when we talked to Deshaun Watson. I don't think he loves football. I don't think he loves it. I think he does it. I think that's how he makes his money. But I don't think Deshaun Watson loves football. I just don't. And I think he gets hurt a lot. And I thought the Browns' biggest mistake was not just that trade, but giving him the contract with all that guaranteed money. They've got a good roster, but I'd be concerned about it. Arctic Tiger, I have St. Brown and Cooper Kupp. I got them both on a touchdown. You know I like that. George, you think the Rams will win today? Here's my concern. Everybody likes the Rams. Everybody does. The public money, the percentage of bets, the percentage of overall money, tickets and money rather. Everyone seems to like the Rams. That means Vegas really likes the Lions. I'd rather be on the side of the Lions in that situation. They're at home. They're a favorite. They have a really good team. Sam Laporta is playing. I know there are injuries, but there's something about this where it's like I'm a little bit wary of this. I'm a little bit concerned. So I think the Rams are getting a lot of love. I understand why, but I'm a little cautious about that. So if I'm taking anything, I take Rams to cover and Lions on the money line. Drew, Dak Prescott over 14.5 rush yards. Interesting play, not one I would take, but interesting idea. Yeah, I'm not taking quarterback rushing yards in either one of those. Just not attractive enough for me. I understand the Dak idea. Packers are really bad against the running game, but just if I don't have to put my money down on something, I tend not to. D. Turner, do you think Stroud is a 1-1 in fantasy in a fresh dynasty? In a fresh dynasty, as in you haven't drafted anybody yet? No. I think running backs are probably number one. I understand why you think I could build around C.J. Stroud. He's just going to have massive years no matter what. But I think overvaluing a quarterback, I honestly think Breece Hall would be somebody I'd consider for that. Bijan Robinson would be someone I'd consider for that. But Stroud, I think, is a first-round pick, but not a first overall. Devontae Smith for a touchdown. What's your input? Lorenzo, I would tend to say yes, but I'm not crazy about it. I think he will, but I don't love it. No A.J. Brown is the reason I like it more than I would otherwise. Bucks are bad against the pass. I'm not betting it, but if you had to ask, do I think it could happen? Yeah. Majomes, need Packers to win so Niners can lock up divisional round. I got you, Majomes. Nathan, Cowboys, Bills, Bucks money line. The only one of that I actually really don't like is the Cowboys. I could see the Cowboys getting upset, believe it or not. I don't think they will. I actually think that is a good parlay, but keep your eye on that game. I think that game could be a little bit closer than we all think it is. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you guys have a question, sports betting, fantasy sports related, feel free to fire away. We need to give out another pick for all you guys because we just hit 12,000 likes. So let's put another pick up on the board. We are going to go over to the NBA again. D. Turner, thanks so much. Appreciate you throwing that Galaxy our way. Let's give out 3 more picks to say thank you for that. So let's go Michael Porter Jr. over 13.5 points. Thank you so much, D. Turner. Let's go Jaime Vasquez Jr. over 15 points. Oops. Let's go Giannis Antetokounmpo over 30 points. Let's give out another pick as D. Turner's showing so much love. Let's go Anthony Edwards over 25 plus points. Boom. Appreciate you guys showing us love. Thank you so much, D. Turner. Jamal Murray over 16.5 points and Jokic over 20.5 points. Let's take a look at it right now, D. Turner. We're going over to Outlier to answer some questions for D. Turner. This is going to be player prop bets, and we're specifically looking at this Pacers-Nuggets game. Jokic is an interesting one. Let's go to his points. Set at 25.5. You're curious about the 20.5. Minus 350. It's been a good trend over the last 5 games, 4 out of the last 5. However, Pacers are a better defense against centers. They're 10th in the league. I think I like the 20.5. I think that one's okay. I do think he gets to 20 points. That's probably actually about the spot I would take it. I don't like it at 23.5. I'm closer on the 20.5. So D. Turner, I do like that one. Let's jump on over to Jamal Murray. Let's see what we're getting there for point totals. You got it at 16.5. Like that spot. Pacers are good against point guards. However, the 16.5 is why I like it. I think he gets there. Very consistent. You got a lot of green on your screen. D. Turner, I love where your head's at. Buy it down. get that consistent, easier play, lower risk play, I think you're onto something there. Drew, Julio Jones, it would kind of be a nice storyline. He comes back to Tampa Bay, puts a couple touchdowns on the board. Arctic Tiger might just want to do 3 TD parlay plays today. Laporta, wow. Even with the injured knee, really? That would be pretty ambitious. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you're loving the show. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you're subscribing. Butt Fumble Sports is live almost every single day. So if you got a question, you want to rant about sports, if you have a take and want to join our show as a guest and bring up your take or your pick, more than happy to do that as well. Wonderful to have you with us. Hopefully you guys are staying safe, warm, above ground, out of water. I know a lot of you guys are having tough weather around the country. I hope you guys are staying safe on this Sunday. Be smart, stay warm, protect yourself. And if you don't have to, don't get on the road and put yourself at risk. Q Dog, so happy to hear you won your fantasy league. Love it. D Turner, I have a parlay with Miles Turner over 4.5 rebounds. Let's take a look at Miles Turner real quick for D Turner. Miles Turner, and you're looking at, right now you're looking at points and you're looking at rebounds. Points and rebounds. We're going to look at them together for the moment. So interestingly, Denver is kind of middle of the pack when it comes to both allowing points against centers. So, interesting there. If we look at points right now, you got it at 13.5. That's a decent spot to take this. Clearly, you're following our advice, buying it down, moving it down. It's been a pretty consistent play. On the road, not as consistent, but I do like it. I tend to say he could get to 15. Problem is I think he's really going to hit 13, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. Maybe you want to take the 13 and have it as the push. How about on rebounds? Rebounds we like more. Rebounds at the 4.5 mark, I really like that one. That's a really strong play, but you knew that. I like the Miles Turner rebounds. I'm not crazy about the 13.5 as much as I thought I would. Sports media, James Cook or Pollard. I'm in the semis right now. Wow, I think both have good games. I think I might lean just slightly towards James Cook overall just because of usage, but I think both are good plays. D. Turner, 60 damn days till he's back. D. Turner, can't wait to have you back stateside, buddy. Get home safe. If you guys have a sports betting question, a fantasy question, DFS question, make sure you hit us up. We're going to be live for just a little while longer, so make sure you get your questions and comments in. If you do have want to get access to all of our sports bets, DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram, to get every bet I make every day. Parlays, total plays, game picks, every type of bet. Round robins. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you subscribe. But if you want all of our picks every day for free, DM me on Instagram. That's the best way to get them. I like it, Arctic Tiger. Jorge, I really like Aaron Gordon today, so I think that is a strong play. Majomes, Joe Flacco coming back next year. I don't think it's a terrible idea as a backup to Deshaun Watson. I definitely think Joe Flacco proved that he has value. The only question I have is would they want to keep him for one more year if he knows he's not going to get a chance to really be on the field until ultimately Deshaun Watson gets hurt in Game 3. By the way, pretty good payday for Joe Flacco on half a season's worth of work. Less than that. What an impressive run he went on. Nathan, I'm about to slam Cowboys, Bills, Bucks, Cooper Kupp touchdown. Go get it, Nathan. Cowboys is actually the one I'm like, but I love it actually overall, so. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. What are you most looking forward to? Which game is the game you're most excited to watch over the next 2 days? NBA or NFL? Which game are you most excited about? I'm assuming there's an NFL game you're pumped for. Nathan, happy birthday. Yeah, Arctic Tiger, I both would have been okay with that, but at the same time, I think the Houston Texans are a dangerous team right now because CJ Stroud can beat anybody with the way he can score. I think that's it. Drew, Dallas Cowboys. Okay, I got you. Majome's excited for that Packers game, Packers Cowboys. I love how everyone was talking about the matchup between Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford and the Lions and the Lions and the Rams rather. But I'm really excited to see Mike McCarthy against the Green Bay Packers. I just think there's a lot of juice there. So Jorge is asking about Paul George. Not huge on Paul George today. Just kind of avoiding that play. I'm avoiding, frankly, the Clippers and the Timberwolves game outside of Anthony Edwards. Arctic Tigers, Texans Super Bowl champions. No, I don't think that's going to be the case, but I would be watching that. If I'm the Ravens, I am a little bit worried about playing them. Yeah, I think that's a dangerous team. Minnesota Miracle was 6 years ago. Time flies. Wow, yeah, time does fly. It's amazing. Majomes, got a feeling Lions and Rams goes under. Not a terrible idea, Majomes, to take the under on that one. Feel like that point total might be higher than it should be. But I didn't bet it. So if you guys have a question, get it in now. We're going to be live for just a few more minutes. So if you do have a sports betting, fantasy question, whatever it is, DFS, if you do want to check out our DFS lineup, go over to our Instagram account, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. Sarah, what's your favorite bet of the day? My favorite bet of the day is Nuggets on the money line. That's my favorite bet of the day, regardless of the sport, regardless of the odds, regardless of everything. That's the one I have the highest confidence level in, is Nuggets on the money line against the Pacers. Other bets that I like today are Packers plus 10.5, Lions money line, Rams plus 6, Buccaneers plus 4.5 for tomorrow, and Bills on the money line tomorrow. A few player prop bets I like. Matthew Stafford to get at least to get over 250 passing, 249.5 passing yards, I should say. And then some anytime touchdowns I like. Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Kupp, and Mike Evans tomorrow. From the NBA, I like the Heat on the money line and the Bucks on the money line, as well as the Nuggets money line that I mentioned a moment ago. And then player prop bets, I like Bam Adebayo to reach 20 points, Devin Booker to reach 20 points, Michael Porter Jr. to reach at least 14 points. Jaime Haskes. I always get the name wrong there. I've got to learn that one because I'm embarrassing myself. But to reach 15 points, Giannis Antetokounmpo over 30 points, and Anthony Edwards over 25 points. So those are some of the player prop bets and game picks I like. Mamba, great to know you won your championship, buddy. Sam Tyler, I do like Pollard anytime touchdown. Jorge, do you like Bruce Brown today in a revenge game? Is it a revenge game? They didn't give him away. He left. I actually feel like it's more like it's a you should still be here. We would be better without you. We're fine without you game. So Arctic Tiger, the under is more likely for the Bills. I'm not touching the total in that game. It is, but I'm not touching it. 8-1-1, really like Melo today. I think he could have a big game. Carlos, my top play, Nuggets money line's my favorite bet of the day. If I had to go with anything else, Packers plus 10.5 actually might be one I like a lot. Rams plus 6. Stafford over 249.5 passing yards. It's probably my favorite player prop bet. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you're loving the show. We are going to wrap up right now. I've had a lot of fun talking sports with you guys today. We will be back later today for a subscriber-only show. We're going to talk some of the bets that we like for the future, give out some more sports betting picks and fantasy sports advice, of course, later today. John, I mentioned some of my favorite touchdown scorers for the Lions-Rams game. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Cooper Kupp. Those are the two I really like today. Those are our picks today. If you guys want to see every bet that I make every day for free, all you have to do is DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. DM me on Instagram. I give away my picks for free every single day. So if you DM me on Instagram, I'll give you a link and a referral code for the SHARPZ app. You download the app. You look at my profile. You can literally tail my bets. So I put together a parlay and you're like, you want to recreate it automatically. You can just hit the tail button, populates it in your sports book. Easy way to follow bets of mine that you like, or at least be able to track all the bets that I'm making every day. Appreciate you guys taking time out of your Sunday to watch us. Make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, and that way you never miss a show when we come on live. And of course, I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. A lot of crazy weather out there today, so make sure you stay warm. Enjoy some sports today. No reason to go out. Just stay in, watch some fun sports, and of course, hit us up. We love hearing from you guys, whether it's on SHARPZ, whether it's on Instagram. So reach out. Love engaging with you guys off the air. Have a wonderful Sunday, a wonderful wild card weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Goodbye, everybody.